Dear ladies and gentlemen, this is day 85 since the beginning of the Russian-Ukrainian war, and this is the ninth year of um, the war that has started in 2014. And my name is Andriy Shevchenko, and I'm welcoming all journalists who share the truth about our fight for freedom. Our guest today is Nataliia Galibarenko, head of mission of Ukraine to NATO. Nataliia, welcome. My first question for you would be, how would you assess cooperation between NATO and Ukraine in the context of Russian aggression? Our cooperation is on a different level and because of war. I'd like to talk about the assistance that is provided by NATO state countries and NATO as an organization, because sometimes people confuse the two issues. As an organization, NATO does not supply lethal weapons. They provide humanitarian assistance, medical supplies, packed food, fuel, firefighters, equipment, medical equipment. But NATO member states, we have bilateral cooperation with them, bilateral agreement about the supply of both lethal and non-lethal weapons, given the fact what a particular country owns and what they can offer, what kind of assistance they can offer. We managed to get huge support from alliance, and that was a miscalculation from Putin because he thought that people would just be expressing their concern and making political statements and Ukraine will not receive any weapon. That was exactly the contrary to what happened. And this war is also the possibility for the alliance to check its resilience and its strengths, to see what gaps they have and what are the prospects for the future. What has changed in Brussels after February 24th? Not only things changed after February the 24th, but they keep changing even today. We saw yesterday that Sweden and Finland applied to become members. That's another proof that alliance is changing. It's a positive change for many NATO countries, and they understand that neutrality is no longer the guarantee for their safety and security, and it's no longer an option. Alliance also understands that they have to have a more clear policy regarding their partners. If they don't have a clear vision and clear understanding of their development policy and partner cooperation policy, this is what we've seen during the first days of the war. There was some kind of ambiguity, how to work, what to do. Logistics was not well organized. There was a little bit of chaos. But now we have systemic help from NATO, and that is the lesson for the future, both for us and the alliance. You said that we have to divide, to understand that there are decisions of individual NATO state countries and NATO as organization. How do NATO state countries, NATO members, coordinate their actions regarding their activities towards Russia? Unfortunately, we lost Nataliia, we lost connection. Let me just remind you that our guest has been Nataliia Galibarenko, head of mission of Ukraine to NATO. Our next brief is going to be at 1:30 with Tamila Tasheva, a permanent representative of the President of Ukraine in Crimea. Nataliia, welcome back. We reconvened. How do NATO countries coordinate their activities regarding their action towards Russia? How do you see that in Brussels? Can you hear me now? Yes, I can. So let me just repeat the question. Could you please explain to us and the journalists who are watching and listening to us, how do NATO countries coordinate their actions regarding Russia and Ukraine? We understand that here we have to differentiate that the decisions have to be made through consensus, but not all decisions have to be made through consensus. Unfortunately, I believe we need to finish our briefing with Nataliia due to technical problems. Let me just remind you that our guest was Nataliia Galibarenko, head of mission of Ukraine to NATO. Our next briefing is going to